Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about the Elder Scrolls Online performance and how you can increase your FPS. If you're new to the channel, make sure to not forget to subscribe. If you have lower FPS compared to other games, that's pretty normal because this game has a lot of optimization issues. However, we can still tweak some stuff and make sure that everything runs how it's supposed to gain a few extra FPS. Let's first talk about the simple tweaks and then go into more technical detail towards the end of the video. Let's talk about the video settings. Rule number 1, display mode. Always set it to full screen. Why is that important? When you actually play in full screen, your PC only has to render the game, the application. Whereas when you choose windowed mode or windowed full screen, your PC has to also render the stuff that is on your desktop. Therefore, performance will drop. The next big thing, if you have FPS issues, always turn off shadows. In any game. That's the first thing you do. You flip the switch on shadows. Gone. It will increase your FPS tremendously. Now these here are my usual settings and I have a very good PC. And even I don't have everything maxed out. Now please keep in mind, I have these on like one third. Don't do this, because then you will actually not see all the animations. View distance, sometimes very important in PvP. You could max that out if you want to see really far, but it's a real FPS killer. Even now you can see now I have 181. I drop it back to like 34. And it will immediately go up a little bit, like slowly again. Now what do you want to do when you go to a raid or PvP in general? I always flip these off, gone. I turn this off, I turn water reflection off, shadow quality gone, and then I reload. Now one other thing, the water reflection, never go above low. Low actually doesn't take a lot of effort to render, but when you do medium and high, it's a problem. So now when I reload, and as you can see, my FPS went up by a little bit, and obviously if there is more players around, this will have a bigger impact. To showcase you how important view distance is, as you can see, this is a big room, we have like 196 FPS. I turn around and it goes up to 240 where my cap is. I turn around again, FPS drops. That's why I say having the view distance slider maxed out is a very bad idea for anyone basically. Add-ons, this is the next big thing. If you have a lot of add-ons activated, your performance will drop heavily. A lot of new players install the add-ons, but they don't really configure them. Now, I do actually have an add-on guide on my website with my saved variables file if you want that, because it's cleaned up and it will save you a lot of resources. Link in the description. A lot of new people have like 2-3 different damage numbers active. So when you hit an enemy, like the combat scroll text, it's very bad for your FPS. You don't really need it. There is even an in-game one that you can activate, but even that one will decrease FPS, so I usually turn it off. Things like Master Merchant constantly check for updates, so like they really drain your performance. Therefore you want to choose add-on selector, where you can select different setups. So for example, when I go to PvP, I don't need add-ons for crafting or for like sky shards and so on most of the times. So you want to have these turned off, and with the add-on selector you can just click and it turns off everything you don't need. When I go into trials, I don't need PvP add-ons, I don't need crafting add-ons. So I really only want to have the add-ons active that I need for the trials, so I click this and it's done. So it's very easy, you only need to set it up once and done. There is one more thing you can do. Go to Documents, Elder Scrolls Online, choose Live for PTS, whatever you want to improve. User settings. Now, first off, make sure to create a copy of this before you change any of the values. Now, a lot of these values can also be adjusted in-game. Now on my website I made a list with the things you can actually change. Very important, don't just copy paste this into here. Search each individual setting separately and then adjust the number. That's how you should do it. A lot of these things can be adjusted in-game, so you will see once you go back into the game, into the video settings, that a few of the sliders have changed. Because this is really to really optimize the game. Because there's a lot of things that impact quality that you also cannot change in-game. A few simple tweaks outside of the game. Ctrl Alt Delete, you will get your task manager. Go to startup here. Some people have like 20 different programs active on startup, and that's obviously not good. You will see them all here. You can disable most of these things. For example, when my PC starts up, I don't need Steam, I don't need Epic, I don't need all these plugins active. Because when you play Elder Scrolls Online, they will also drain resources and you will have lower performance. Like when I want Steam, I will start it up myself. It's as simple as that. So make sure to change this. Right click on the desktop, go to NVIDIA control panel. There's just a few things you want to make sure. If you go here, use my preference. If you have issues with FPS, just turn it to full performance. The game will look a little bit worse, but it doesn't matter. Next thing, manage 3D settings. Go to program settings. And here you want to make sure that the Elder Scrolls Online.exe is selected. Prefer maximum performance in power management mode. This way it's always ready, right? It's a very simple change and very effective. You could tweak a few more, but these are the easy ones. I am currently using the Chrome browser, and we all know the issues with this. It sucks up a lot of RAM. And in general, your game also needs the RAM, so you really want to make sure that no other program uses this, and this here displays it very well. The browser or browsers in general are very needy, and then, yeah, RIP. So if you have 200 different tabs open, it will be bad for your game. Or just bad in general, so you want to make sure it's closed. When it's closed, it can still run in the background. To deactivate this, you want to go to settings, type in background, go to the systems, and here continue running background apps when Google Chrome is closed. Turn that off. So when you actually close it, all the background apps also get closed and you can save again performance. I'm not sure how that's with other browsers, but I guess it runs the same. I want to talk about my PC spec real quick, like 2-3 points. Please keep in mind these are ref links. If you want to support me, you can use them. It would be much appreciated. Now, if you want to reduce loading screens, you really want to make sure to run your game on SSDs, and usually the M.2 ones are the fastest ones, but they're also very expensive and you need to make sure your motherboard actually has slots. Second, the RAM. Now I have very expensive RAM. You don't need that expensive RAM, it's like overkill. Most of the times people run DDR4 3000 RAM, they are very cheap and very good. But my point is that a lot of the people that build PCs their own, when you usually like insert these, they usually run at 2133 megahertz and not at the advertised speed. You can download CPU-C, I will put a link in the description if you want to check your stats. It's all here. Now I do run my RAM at 4000 megahertz, and then you need to divide it through 2. So it should show 2000. If you run it on 3000, it should show 1500. If that value is not like this, something might be wrong and you might have the default setting of the RAM and not the advertised speed. The most important thing for Elder Scrolls Online is your CPU. I do have i9. You don't need i9. It's way overpriced. There is a lot better options in my opinion for a more, like for a decent price actually. I will put this into the description. Now you're probably saying, well, Elder Scrolls Online has multi-core support. Why should we only look at single thread performance? So as of what I've found out, if you run 99% of your tasks on a single core and 1% of the other tasks on multiple cores, the only thing that still matters is the single core performance. That's just how it is. The next important thing, most cores come at like 3.6, or like most of these CPUs come at 3.6, 4 gigahertz. I do run mine at 4.7. Now keep in mind, that's overclocking. If you overclock, you will lose your warranty. So it's like, you need to decide whether you want to risk it or not. I run mine at 4.7, which is fairly easy to do, and overheating is not really an issue with this speed, at least for my PC. You could even go higher, and that's the biggest performance increase. So a really good single thread performance with a high frequency will give you the best FPS in Elder Scrolls Online. If you're new to Elder Scrolls Online, make sure to check out my leveling video and visit the website for more guides. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.